We got a lot to discuss today. In fact, so much I've actually made some notes because I'm a professional. I don't know if you saw, by the way, I saw it on Twitter, and there was a picture of Wan-Bissaka next to Rio Ferdinand, and they were both doing their preparations for TV for the final, for the Euro 2024 final. And somebody pointed out, and they'd frozen the camera. They're both sat at a desk. They both got a pen and a clipboard with a pad, and Mata had like a whole sheet worth of notes, like tactical notes from the game. And somebody had noticed that on a whole like A4 sheet, all Rio Ferdinand had written was one word, which was vibes. Vibes. I'm guessing bad vibes, by the way, from the England performance, but it just goes to show. So I'm not claiming to be one matter, but I've got a bit more than vibes written down. Let's start with Pierre Ekwah. Pierre Ekwah, you may well remember this lad. He wasn't poached from Chelsea's academy. We took him for 1.4 million. I guess it was a tribunal or just maybe a compensation package or something like that. That was in July 2021. It didn't really work out for him, basically. I thought he was quite good. I remember seeing him that season when we won the FA Youth Cup. I remember seeing him the first game of the season. We played Arsenal for the under-21s. I thought he was the best player on the pitch. I thought he looked really good. There were times when he was struggling with midfield when I thought, oh, maybe this guy will be the one that breaks through. Anyway, it didn't happen. We sold him in the winter window of 2023 in January. We sold him to Sunderland at a loss, £350,000. However, we inserted a sell-on clause. Now, we've been sort of victims of this stuff recently, and maybe we always seem to be, in terms of transfer deals, on the wrong end of this sort of stuff. However, it's sort of gone with us. Now, we've discussed it before on this channel. There was a point where we said that it was 35%. I do remember there was a little bit of pushback on that. It might be 25%, but whatever. As a quarter or more of the money from the sale of this guy will go into West Ham's coffers. It looks like he's quite close to signing for Udinese from Sunderland. So that's really, really good news. So some Brucey bonus money for West Ham from him. That's really good. Karim Adeyemi, you know this guy. You must know this guy. He's this rapid forward. I've seen him play on the wing for Dortmund, seen him play up front for Dortmund. He's sort of one of the quickest players I've ever seen. I thought this was going to be the next young up-and-coming player, to come from Europe. Anyway, apparently we are interested in him. And apparently Dortmund are willing to let him go. I can't, for the life of me, understand why. I don't have an encyclopedic knowledge of Dortmund. I really don't. I don't know. Has something gone wrong? Has he had a falling out over there? I just don't know. I just find it amazing that this guy might be available. Well, if anyone's going to know about young up-and-coming players in Germany, it's certainly going to be our own Tim Steiten, who's not quite as well-travelled. He's not got the full Phileas Fogg or the Michael Palin about him. He's been staying put, well, albeit in Austria. If anyone's going to know about young players, it's going to be Tim Steiten, isn't it? So, I thought that was really, really interesting. I liked that. Then we also heard this story that came out late last night that was that Tim Steiten wasn't sure about Jonathan David. Now, Jonathan David has had a hell of a season. All I can say is, he's had a hell of a few seasons, actually. I think he actually scored in the third place playoff in the Copa America. He scored in that. He's done really, really well. He had another good season at Lille. I find it a bit like Adeyemi, really, but just a little bit older. He used to be the future, didn't he, Jonathan David? And it's never really happened. I do wonder why a big club hasn't bought him. Anyway, apparently, so the rumour goes, that Tim Steiten is suspicious of him. I don't think he thinks he's going to steal his purse or rob him or anything like that. I think he's just suspicious that he can't cut it in the Premier League. So I don't know. I like him. I like him as a player. I was quite excited about him, excited about Adeyemi. Sort of less excited about John Duran, but I do, because I've not seen enough, truth be known. It's crazy, isn't it? The two other players who don't play in this country, I've seen more of them than the guy that plays in this country. But all of those are all much, much better prospects than being linked with Alexander Sorloth again, which I'm a little bit worried about. Maybe I shouldn't be. Maybe I should be about as worried as I was about Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I wasn't worried at all because I think it was, as I said, if you joined us on our Patreon yesterday, myself and Gio, on our player ratings show, I called BS on that. I called BS on that quite early on that Calvert-Lewin thing. I just can't. We would not sanction it. I just don't believe for a moment we would sanction a transfer for that player. Okay, yes, could you convince me that we might do it on a pay-as-you-play? But we're not going to do that. We want to go and get a striker that can play every game. That's not him. So yeah, I called BS on that transfer rumour. But be it Adeyemi, be it David, be it John Duran, yes, it's a yes to any of those, right? All of them if you want. Sorloth, 28-year-old, one prolific season in the last 6-7 years. Leave it out. I'm not interested. It's not up to me, quite frankly, is it? So, anyway, a couple of others to discuss, as you'll have seen from my list. Before I do, I just want to point you in the direction of today's video sponsor, which is Surfshark. It's a VPN. Look, VPNs, I've got to be honest with you, are an easy sell for me to tell you about a VPN. There's lots of reasons why people might need a VPN. I can think of two really, really good ones. Number one, we all do banking on our phone now or on our laptops. Without having a VPN, your internet provider or your phone provider can see what you're doing. Now, I'm not suggesting that your phone provider or your internet provider are going to start nicking your bank details, but if they get hacked, other people can get your bank details and stuff like that. I've used a VPN for some time now. It's an extra layer of security. Basically, if you go up to the cache point and you cover up your PIN, which I do, of course you're going to do that, right? This is a bit like doing that, really. It's an extra layer of security, and it just basically, it keeps everything that you do online private. I'm not suggesting that lovely people as wholesome as yourselves are going to be doing anything dodgy online. Far from it. But something you might want to look after yourselves. The other reason that I would suggest you might want to do it is, like when the West Ham game was on the other day. It was on West Ham YouTube. It was Ferenc Varos against West Ham, the 2-2 draw in the pre-season friendly. That some people couldn't watch that. For some reason, some people in the UK, all people in the UK could watch it, but some people in some countries in Europe, some countries in the Americas, they couldn't watch it. Now, there's no reason for you not to watch it, but what a VPN will do, but allow you to basically pretend that you're in the UK. So it just allow you to watch things that maybe you're not allowed to watch ordinarily. I'm sure the club wouldn't have any objection at all to you watching West Ham's pre-season friendly. So another reason to do it. We've got some really good offers with Surfshark. The best thing I can advise you to do is go and check out the link below. Literally underneath this screen, there's a link. Go and click on there. Get your discount, get your trial period, okay? If you don't like it after your trial period, you can cancel it, but I think you might well stick with it. I certainly have done. I've had Surfshark myself for 3 years. As I say, it's an easy sell. It's not like me sitting here and trying to sell, well, some of you lovely ladies who obviously watch this, it's not like me trying to sell you girls a beard trimmer, is it? Do you know what I mean? I'll probably leave it there. Surfshark is good for everybody. Right, two more people to deal with. Flynn Downes. He's gone. That's it. It's done. Signed, sealed, delivered. Really quick. He'd obviously agreed his personal terms before he got on the plane to go from Austria to fly over to Southampton. When did we went to Austria at Southampton Airport? Oh, that doesn't matter really, does it? Anyway, he got it done really, really quickly. Passed his medical. He was signed within... Like all the press stuff had been done before the medical. I think he passed the medical and he was announced 2.5 hours later. That's some pretty slick stuff, really. So congratulations to Flynn Downes. That's I'm not no hard feelings there. I wish it had worked out. As I mentioned yesterday, he was sort of the right player in the right club at the wrong time, wasn't he? Really. So a bit of a shame for him, and would have under different circumstances. I think he may well have had a decent career at West Ham. I do, actually. But anyway, you only had to look at the game against Ferenc Varos where we had Potts. Obviously, we had Orford, both looking very similar in the 61 and 62 shirt. We had Irvine came on, of course. We got Edson Alvarez to come back. James Ward-Prowse is going to play there as well. But we got a lot of players who can sort of play in that position as well. I do believe that possibly Pakataro will play more of a midfield role next season if they can find him and bring him back from Brazil. That's a different story. I'm not doing that story today on purpose, by the way, just in case you're wondering why I'm not talking about that. I do wonder about Thomas Souček though. We got a little glimmer, a little glimpse, and it's one thing me saying to you on a video, I'm not going to read too much into this pre-season friendly. It would then be completely contradictory if I then went and read too much into it. So I'm not reading anything into it. But a lot of us suspected that maybe Thomas Souček was not going to suit Lopetegui's style. So I'm not going to read too much into it. But I'm watching this space. That's what I'm doing. I'm watching this space. I can't see how, but I'm willing to be educated. That's for sure. One last... Oh, yeah, sorry. There was one last thing, wasn't there? Of course. The right-back situation. The club have announced... They've not announced. They've leaked. They've suggested. They've hinted from a top source at West Ham that we are indeed looking for a right-back. I mean, it's got to be... It's got to be down to Wan-Bissaka or Kyle Walker-Peters. I would love it to be someone else. Not that I don't like those players, I do. But I would love us to sign somebody that nobody has mentioned. I like that. I can't remember the last time it happened. It won't be anyone overly important. The big memory I always have is years and years ago, I'd pop back to my mum's house to see some of my old school friends. And I'd stayed over at Mum's, and she woke me up with a cup of tea in the morning. And she said, "Oh, you might want to get up. That Sky Sports News is on downstairs." I'd had a few lemonades the night before, and she said, "I said, what's going on?" She said, "Yeah, West Ham have signed some players." "What do you mean signed some players?" "West Ham have signed some players." And she says, "Someone called Tevez and someone else." Oh, I'd say ping. I woke up pretty damn quickly there. I ran downstairs and it came out of nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. So I'm not saying we're going to do something like that, but I would love us to sign somebody that nobody... I guess it's impossible. Because even if we were close, I guess Tim would tell Fabrizio and... on first name terms with these people, obviously. We'd just find out, wouldn't we? But it would be nice. But anyway, either one of those would be good. And I hope we're going to do that. Centre forward feels close. I don't think there's going to be too much dilly dally in the centre forward, but I'll call extra BS. So I'll call extra BS on the Sorloth. No, the extra BS, extra lashings, extra helpings of BS on the Calvert-Lewin. More BS on the Sorloth. Is it going to be one of the others? I don't know. That'd be interesting if it was another one aside from sort of David, Duran. And of course, Adeyemi. I'm not going to include Adeyemi. He's too recent. He's not been linked for long enough. So, got to be a young up and comer, hasn't it? Really, or someone in their early 20s, something like that. We don't need Alexander Sorloth. Certainly not at that money, anyway. I am happy to be proven... Actually, I'm not happy to be proven wrong. I don't want to be proven wrong. I don't want to sign Sorloth. I think the rumour's rubbish. We're not going to sign it. You can clip this, by the way, if I get it wrong. We're not going to sign Alexander Sorloth, all right? The rumour's rubbish, and we're getting someone else. There you go. Yeah, you heard it here. Well, sort of last, really.